I know you had enough. I know you had enough. Stay a while. I know you had enough. Get on down, bad enough. You and all your friends hopped up that big truck.
So here we have our Precision Raceworks ignition kit for the N54 335i. It's going to come with 6 of the coils. Here is your coil rail that they will be connected to in the engine bay. Here are your spark plug wires. Here are the coil adapter harnesses. This is your hardware that is included to mount it to the rail. We have some loom to go over the wires. So here is everything that comes in the ignition kit. I did order this 14 millimeter 12-point deep well socket from ECS Tuning. I got this for about 30 bucks shipped. This comes with a magnet inside, so when you're removing the spark plug, it sticks to it and won't fall out. So this is going to be a big help when taking out the spark plugs and putting the new plugs back in. So I assembled the coils to the rail. This will just give you guys a picture of how they need to go on correctly and how to put the screws in. I got these screws on the front side with the clamps, and then tighten them down on the back of the rail. So here I have my Bosch Super Plus copper spark plugs. I got these at my local AutoZone for about 18 bucks a piece, which is about 110 bucks for all 6. So hopefully these new spark plugs will help me pick up on some power that I lost, that I'm losing when my engine is misfiring in multiple cylinders. So first step, we're going to be removing the engine cover. There's going to be 3 T30 screws on top, so you can go ahead and remove those and we can get the engine cover out of the way. Up next, we will be removing the OEM factory coils. So to do that, you're going to lift up on this tab, unplug this tab from the coil, and lift up. Next step is to take your deep well socket that I mentioned earlier, your 14 millimeter, preferably hook it up to an extension of some sort, and go ahead and remove your old spark plugs. And continue to do that for all 6. Now that we have all 6 spark plugs removed, we're going to go ahead and put in our new Bosch spark plugs. Just to give you guys a picture of how these look. This is the old one, obviously. You can see how it's worn down. The electrode looks like it's blackened up a little bit. And you have the new one. Let me focus it in. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put these new ones in. So beginning with number 1, we're going to go ahead and hand tighten it as much as we can down in there, and then we'll add on the ratchet to tighten it down to torque. I believe it is 17 pounds of torque. After we have all the new spark plugs into place, we're going to remove these 2 screws right here to loosen up this wiring tray. So one right here, and see if I can show you the second. One right there, and I'm gonna be using 11/32 to remove those. I had to get an extension to get back down to this one, but make sure that you save both of these screws because they will be required to mount the new coil rail. So first we're gonna start unclipping the wiring from the actual tray itself. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, about 4 clips. I'm just gonna lift the wires out and I'll remove it from the tray. Gonna take a flathead, pry up on it. Doesn't matter if they breaks, we're not gonna be using this again. So we're just trying to get the wires out the way. Now there are 2 small zip ties that we need to cut in order to remove all of the wiring from the tray. You may be able to see one is right here and the other is right behind it. So we're just gonna take some scissors and clip those off so we can finish removing it from the tray. We also want to remove this capacitor right here from the tray. You can just lift up on the clip in the back and it should come right out. Next we're going to flip up on this tab on both sides so we can continue to feed the wire out from the tray. Now we're going to start to disassemble the tray. There are clips all along the side, so I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver and pry that off so we can open it up and remove it.
Twenty minutes later. 3 hours later. Many months later.
Next step is to take your Precision Raceworks plugs and plug it over top of the spark plug itself. I recommend grabbing it by the wires right here and pushing down until you hear a pop, and this part should slightly go into this piece right here. Now that we have all 6 plugs into place, we're gonna go ahead and insert our coil rail. We're gonna lift up on all of the wiring, get it out the way, and try to tuck it right underneath until it matches up with the factory 2 screws, and we're gonna go ahead and attach it down with those old wiring harness screws. Just take your time, be patient, be sure not to tear any wires. Now that we have the coil rail installed, we will proceed to put the spark plug caps on top of the coil points right here on each one. I recommend putting each wire under as you cap it over, just to keep the wires cleaned up a little bit, as we'll add loom to them at the end. And you should hear it snap into place. Next step is to connect each coil adapter harness to each coil. Just make sure you have each harness, say for instance 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, or you will have more misfires and rough idles. I'm now going to be adding some loom to cover up the wires. So I'm just going to measure it out to the length that I need, cut it, and then go ahead and wrap the loom around the wires. We can now put the engine cover back on top. The only thing that is required to do to the engine cover is modifying the foam that covers where the new coils will be. I went ahead and just cut my engine cover completely because I want the coils to be seen in my engine bay, but this is not necessary. All you have to do is remove the foam in this area that I did cut out. And go ahead and put those Torx back in, and should be good to start it up. So on the initial startup, it was kind of running a little rough. I checked my Cobb tuner for codes, and I got a code for a misfire in cylinder 4. So all I did was go to the fourth one, take off the plug cap, take off the harness, and put them right back on. Just took them off and put them right back on. Started it up, and it sounds a lot better. The codes went away, and everything seems to have worked out well. Car sounds a lot better. Gonna let it run for a little while. Hopefully that fixes the issue. And yeah. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe to my channel. Got a lot more content coming this summer. And see you guys in the next video.